Plants vs. Zombies, the ultimate zombie slayer, a staple within the gaming community, and a game fun for the whole family. Hi, Original here, and today we'll be going over a game that I feel doesn't get the attention it deserves, and the topic that kind of suddenly came into my mind while I was fighting for my life in the trenches of World War II. Are the plants in Plants vs. Zombies really plants? No, wait, don't exit the video. I know this sounds crazy, but hear me out. Look, after playing the latest game in the series, Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborhoodville, I started to think that these beings are more than just plants. Like, how in the world is a plant able to move so fast, shoot down waves of zombies, and have some type of verbal communication? Have I intrigued you yet? Let's get started. As always, we need some kind of background knowledge before we try to apply our real life assumption to a video game. So in this case, what is a plant? Seems obvious, right? But seriously, what's the definition of a plant besides something that's green, needs sun and water, and stays in the ground? Well, a plant is a multicellular, eukaryotic, mostly photosynthetic organism in the plantae kingdom that typically lacks locomotive movement or an obvious nervous or sensory organs and possesses cellulose cell walls. Some key words here are typically lacking and mostly photosynthetic. Meaning, just because an organism does not produce its own food through photosynthesis, or if it does have some type of low-level sensory organ, we can't immediately cross the possibility of the organism being a plant. One example of organisms classified as a plant that can't solely photosynthesize to survive are holoparasitic plants, such as the daughter weave, that attach themselves to host plants and drain its nutrients to support itself. Furthermore, an example of a plant with a sensory organ are the popular carnivorous plants such as the Venus flytrap. The edges of the leaves have sensors that are able to determine when a fly lands within the trap, triggering the plant to close its opening, encasing and killing the fly. As we can see, the definition of a plant can be stretched a bit and doesn't necessarily have to fit within the strict guidelines given to us. This may be true with plants in real life having minor sensory systems and movement. However, these so-called plants within the game are jumping, running, and gunning. Very unplant-like. So while the definition does include the words typically and mostly, the fact that most of these plants within the game are fitting into these exceptions and majorly being the outsiders is really pointing at the fact that they may just be a bunch of liars. Let's start pointing out the elephants in the room on why I believe these are not just plants. First off, the amount of movement these guys are doing is really crazy. I know I keep jokingly mentioning it, but it's true. Our previous examples of movement are nothing in comparison to what we witnessed, especially within the later games. The first couple of games in the series can be a toss-up because the plants just kind of sway back and forth, but the biggest thing here is their attacks, which does require a lot of this locomotive movement. In addition, within the first-person shooters, they walk, jump, and leap around the battlefields, just like animals would. Definitely not like plants. They also react to pain and discomfort immediately as zombies munch on them. Keyword is immediately. Plants, even the outliers of this definition, don't have such a fast reaction as what is expressed within the game. A feature to point out is the facial sensors they have, mainly the eyes. They are able to use their eyes and can immediately spot out a zombie, as these so-called plants shoot their weapons when they see the zombie. So there is definitely some type of sensory mechanism there that is similar to how animals behave. Another major point here is how they interact with the sun. Sun energy is the foundation of these games. It's how you heal the plants and build them, which is the most important factor in photosynthesis. However, one thing I realized is that only the sunflower can absorb the energy from the sun. Think about it. The only way to build more plants is to gain more sun, but most of the plants can't gain that sun energy, only the sunflower. And from there, once you build the sunflower, you can use the energy that they're able to create to spend and build more plants. This is almost like animals who eat their plants for their energy that they collect from the sun through photosynthesis. This really is starting to come together like a puzzle, and I think I just found the last piece. You ever notice how the plants communicate with one another? Well, yes, it's not like English or anything understandable. They do make grunts, and they scream around making random noises. Just listen. Plants don't do this. But you know who does? Animals, like humans, dolphins, and any other organisms with the mental capacity of language. Now, of course, we can't really dive deep into the cells of the so-called plants to officially determine if the cells have cell walls like the plants, or if they have a mitochondria as the powerhouse of the cell like animals do. However, I believe we have witnessed enough behavior and structural differences to determine that they are definitely not plants. So what can they be? Well, they have been sharing characteristics of animals. So what is an animal? Ignoring the obvious cellular structure part of the definition that we can't justify ourselves with any kind of evidence, Merriam-Webster again says that an animal is an organism that requires more complex food materials, are organized to a greater degree of complexity, and have the capacity for spontaneous movement and rapid motor responses to stimulation. I mean, it seems pretty clear cut to me. They take in the more complex foods already made by the sunflower in the games, check. They are organized to a greater degree of complexity with eyes and mouths and a built-in usable weapon to fire at zombies, check. And they definitely have spontaneous and rapid motor responses by demonstrating how they fire when they see a zombie and have immediate pain receptors, check. And this last one for extra credit, they can communicate with one another. Boom. Mic drop. Alright guys, well, I guess we should email the developers that they've just been lying to us with false advertising because these games are clearly animals versus zombies. If you think about it, can any game with zombies be called animals versus zombies because humans are animals? Anyways, I hope you all have enjoyed this video. Remember, this is all just for entertainment, and thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next original explanation.